Alright, YouTube. Guys, bear with me. It's been a long time since I made a video, but I got a good one for you guys today. I honestly think y'all gonna love this. I haven't got out in the car to make this video. Excuse me. One gentleman even said he loves my how-to video, so guess what? This is a better how to drive a 10-speed properly, because the last video, even mine, was kind of so I did more research, I did more digging, I did more tests. So now we're gonna go ahead and break down how to properly actually drive a 10-speed, what the modes do, what the gearing does, all of it. And the other video, yeah, that one's gonna get deleted like ASAP as soon as I'm done making this and it's uploaded. I even took notes. Like, I'm serious. When I told y'all I made this channel to bring content, to inform people about Mustangs and everything, I'm updating y'all as I learn. Some can say I'm learning slow. I'm a father of two. I work a lot. I mean, I can only do so much. So guys, bear with me. For those that follow, I appreciate the patience. My goal is to hit 100 subscribers within the next, I'm gonna say 4 months. I'm almost there. I'm like at 80. My goal is to grow the channel. I'm working and trying to focus on getting a tune, but right now I'm not gonna lie, my money's been tight. My money's been tight for a while. I got a lot of stuff coming up. Kids, sports, baseball games, basketball games, all that. Like, money has been tight. So I'm sorry I haven't had any mod content or anything, but we will get there. So, hopefully and surely we will get there. But right now, the best I can do is bring how-to videos and information a lot of people may not know. So on the 10-speed, there's been a lot of controversy about these two modes. So I'm gonna pause the video, flip the camera. So the controversy has been drive and sport, which a lot of people are calling this drive and this shift, right? So if we come up here and look at my dash and we go through the modes, right? Normal, sport plus, track, drag, snow and wet. Back to normal, right? So if we hit the brake, here's drive mode, right? We're not gonna go nowhere. But like I said, track, drag, snow wet, normal, sport plus. We're cycling through the modes, correct? Put the transmission into sport, you just get sport, sport plus, track, drag. Notice how sport showed up. Notice that sport was not even available as an option in drive. You got sport plus, but where's the sport? You got sport plus. There's a reason for that. All right. Now we're gonna flip the camera back around. So cycling between them two modes, drive to sport, alters the car's behavior significantly. Like, I'm talking like it's night and day. But if you're like, I have one, I don't see the difference, I don't know what you're talking about, it's because you don't know what to look for. Once you know what to look for, you're gonna be like, whoa, like, how did I overlook this? Why did I not see this? How did I not see this? So, like I said, I took notes. I'm gonna read from these. I don't want to make this too long, but I don't want it to be too short. I want to properly inform you guys and, you know, fill y'all in. So in the 10-speed Mustang, the difference between drive for D and then S for sport will impact the car's behavior significantly, right? Major night and day difference. So now we're gonna break them down. And I'm not just gonna go through that, I'm gonna go through the actual drive modes. I just spit, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go through the actual drive modes themselves, right? And explain them. I'm gonna break them down. Sport, Sport Plus, pretty much the same. One's just further enhanced. We'll end up breaking them down. So we're gonna start with D, your default mode. When you put the car in D mode, default for drive, that's your everyday driving. Is designed for general driving, commuting, and fuel efficiency, like getting up, going to the grocery store, taking the kid to school, you know, going on a date, whatever the case may be. You're not looking to burn fuel, you're not looking to hot rod, you're not looking to burn, shred tires. You're just going from point A to point B. That's it. It's going to offer smooth shifting. The transmission shifts relatively smoothly, and on top of that, it's going to relatively shift earlier than normal to help keep your RPMs low. That way, with lower RPMs, you're burning less fuel. With less fuel burning and softer, slower shifts, it's going to be more of a comfortable ride. Some of you will be like, how is slow or comfortable? Some people just like to go balls to the wall all the time. Leaving it in drive is softer, more comfortable, more of a daily driver car, more of a relaxed, you can mellow out, zone out, be in your moment is in type feel, right? So it offers a balanced performance. So drive D mode is set for basically multiple conditions. So whether it's hot, cold, icy, snowing, drive is the best mode to be in, along with selecting your snow and wet mode to help kill throttle response, so you actually don't slip and lose control or have too much throttle response, right? So drive is your everyday grocery getter, not overdoing it type of mode, right? So that's what drive is for. We're going to get into putting the transmission in sport mode. Like I said, I took notes. I'm going to make sure I don't leave nothing out. So it's going to be a little noisy with the paper flipping. Sport mode, and I'm calling it sport, not shift, because it is sport, not shift. Because a lot of people tell you if you want the car to do everything, leave it in drive. The only time you go into shift mode is when you want to shift and engage the paddles and you want to take full control and drive the car and do it all yourself. Partially right. You can do that. But that is not what all it's only for. So now we're going to get into it. Like I said, I'm going to break this down. Sport mode for the transmission offers enhanced performance. S mode for sport mode is geared towards more dynamic and aggressive driving experience. So the car is going to become more dynamic and more aggressive by putting the shifter into sport, not leaving it in drive and selecting sport plus in your mode selector. Do not do that if you are looking to get the full performance out of this car. I can't stand when people are trying to tell people how to get the full performance and like, oh yeah, shift to sport, downshift as much as you want, and then throw it back into drive. I've seen someone say that in a video. I'm not going to knock them. That's not how it works, my guys. So I wouldn't continue to keep doing that. I mean, it might not hurt it, but I wouldn't do it. I mean, I've tested this stuff. I've done my research. That's not how you properly drive or race the 10-speed. That's not how you do it. I'm telling you right now, that's not how you do it. I'm informing you. Like I said, I took the notes. I studied it. I've tested it. I'm going through. So, also, by putting your transmission into S mode, it's going to have higher revving. The transmission will hold the gears longer, allowing the engine to rev higher before shifting. This keeps the engine in its power band, providing a more immediate acceleration and more responsiveness. So by putting the transmission into sport, you are now telling the transmission to shift up faster, more aggressive, and downshift faster and more aggressive. So here's where we can dictate the differences between the two. So, oops, got my camera all over the place. I never said I was the best cameraman. When you select the mode, when we were in drive, we saw that it was normal, sport plus, track, drag, snow, and wet, right? Sport wasn't even an option. Those modes enhance how quickly the car will respond to your throttle input. Each one a step up from the other. That's basically what sport plus is, track, and drag. But they have a little more to them, and we are going to get into that. So notice in that I said throttle response, not shift time. You will shift quicker because you will reach your shift point faster. You're accelerating faster because your throttle response is faster, but the transmission is still shifting at this pace, right? When you put it into S for sport, you go from this to more rapid, more repetitive shifting sessions, up and down, depending on if you're accelerating or deaccelerating, right? So, like I said, in my notes, I even got faster, more aggressive shifts. In S mode, they are faster and more pronounced. Meaning by pronounced, you can hear this car shift up and you can hear it shift down. It honestly reminds me of my BMW M3 46. The car was wicked. I miss it. Someone rear-ended me. She totaled my car. It looked like she was texting and driving. Man, I wish I had that car back. But when you put the transmission into sport, and I'm calling it sport over shift for a reason, and that will be explained to you too here shortly, because it's more than just shifting. You can shift the car with the paddles in drive. You can shift the car with the paddles in sport, right? But also, aside from putting the transmission into sport, not only do you get more aggressive, pronounced shifts, throttle response also does, like the other modes, become more sensitive. meaning a slight input to the throttle is going to have a much more significant result in reaction from the engine. So it does help as well with throttle response. So you got two different formations, two different modes helping with throttle response: sport mode from the transmission and sport mode from your mode selection. Also, depending on if you have Magna Ride suspension and all that other stuff, it also adjusts your steering and your Magna Ride if you have it. So just to throw that out there, those are some key differences, right? We're going to the next page. Also, engine braking. Sport mode often provides more engine braking, which can be useful when descending in hills or just a more spirited driving feel. By putting it in sport, you're going to have more of that kind of spirited driving, you know, get the let out type of feel, more excitement to it. It's going to be more responsive. You're going to have to pay attention to the car more. So, to break them two modes down, in summary, D mode for drive is prioritized for comfort, fuel efficiency, and smooth operation for daily driving. S mode prioritizes performance, responsiveness, and a more engaging driving experience at the expense of your fuel economy. So that's that. Now to actually get into the mode selections themselves. How I pointed out that when I don't need the notes anymore because this is all raw memory because I've had the car for so long. Whenever you're selecting your modes, right? And my headliner, boy, bugs the mess out of me. When you're selecting your modes and you're going through Sport Plus, drag, track, drag, those affect your throttle response and as well your RPMs, right? So how I give you the example of putting it in sport makes the transmission shift quicker. While you're in drive, it's normal. It's shifting at the same speed. Those shifts might just come faster because of your throttle response, but when you put the transmission in there, it's really picking up and kicking through. So when you go to Sport Plus is if you're in drag, it lets you select Sport Plus. It won't let you select Sport. That's the tier up. You get the throttle response. It allows you to take your RPMs a little higher. So when you go into Sport Plus, your throttle is more responsive. You can take the RPM a little higher, right? And when it downshifts, it doesn't hold the gear crazy long. It won't hold it that long, and it won't hold it that high. When you go to track now, here's where we get to the steak and potatoes, because the big key denominator is which mode's better for performance, track or drag. That's been my big key question. If you're on the track, track. If you're on a drag strip, drag. If you're roll racing, drag. Here's why. So when you're on a track mode is designed for accelerating, braking. I spit again. I'm sorry. I need some water. Track is designed for accelerating and braking. Accelerating and braking. Entering and exiting apexes, which are the corners. So in track, you are going to have very, very loud, aggressive downshifts. Like the engine is going to be screaming because track mode is going to let you take the RPM pretty much to the maximum, and it is going to hold it there for a longer period of time. So when you need to get back in the throttle, you can just get the let out when exiting in that corner. It is going to hold that RPM and let you accelerate like boom. So on some formats, track can accelerate quicker than drag, but only in corners because it's going to hold that high RPM and immediately shift when you get back in the throttle. That's why track mode screams so loud. I can only imagine what track mode sounds like with a Borla ATAK or the Corsa Extreme. I'm thinking I'm going the Corsa Extreme route. I can't wait to hear what that exhaust sounds like in track mode. Woo! Now, when you get to drag mode, because drag isn't tuned and geared for accelerating, slowing down, you are going to get the fastest, most aggressive shifts you can get out of this car in drag mode. When I went to an old private family road to test track and drag, track was beating the time 0 to 60, 0 to 100 out of drag significantly. But the only reason track was beating it, traction control was only slightly off. I had far less wheel spin in track mode than drag. Every shift my car made in drag mode, the tires were breaking loose. Every shift. When I took the car to the drag strip, an actual prepped track, Nitto G2, someone would probably say there are better tires. There are definitely better tires. But with my setup, with the setup I had, I could not get a 12-second pass in this car in any other mode. Sport Plus, track couldn't do it, and I didn't understand it because track was faster than drag. So when I got there, I was like, drag ain't even worth trying. It's not worth trying because track is already faster than it. Why would track mode be faster? And I was like, you know what? It said drag. This is a prep strip. I was like, I was spinning. I was definitely spinning. Let's try it here. First attempt, I got real close to making that pass. Second attempt, I easily got that 12-second pass in drag. Ran it again, got it even lower. Found out very quickly that with the prep surface, and if you got the right tires, drag mode shifts so hard and so aggressively that if you don't have the right setup, your tires will break loose. And that's what was killing me on the time when I did my track apps. That's why track mode was faster than drag, because track mode was not spinning. Spinning in every gear was costing me significant amounts of time. When I actually got to properly compare the two, drag is the way to go when you're running it from a dig and when you're running it from a roll race, because it's meant for straight line speed, straight line acceleration. It's going to shift hard and it's going to shift fast. So please, for the love of everything, make sure you have the proper tires, please, because it will break loose and she will kick if you don't have the right setup. I'm going to let you know right now, she will break loose. So I hope you're doing it in a controlled setting where no one gets hurt. Keep it off the street. Keep it off public streets. We were on a private road, so ours was different. It was a private drive to our old family home. Now, those are the key differences between the two. Drag is geared for top of the line, straight line speed, fast, hard shifts. It will not scream like track mode because it is not designed for stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. So the downshifts are not as loud. The downshifts are not as aggressive. They're still loud, but they're not nearly as aggressive as track. They're more of on the Sport and Sport Plus side. Maybe even a little more subtle, because even in Sport and Sport Plus, it's kind of stop, go, just a little bit because of corners. But drag is built for that straight line, raw dog, get up and go. So even at a roll, if you were doing a roll run from 60, it's going to hit hard, flat out, fast. It's going to grip and go. So those are the differences between the actual mode functions themselves and how they increase throttle response, where they hold the RPMs at, why they hold the RPMs there, and just, Sport and Sport Plus, they're for the spirited driving, going out, spirited driving, having fun. Track is for the track. Drag is obviously for the drag strip. But this is overall how they function. And that's what makes them work, and that's what makes them tick. Leaving your car in drive and then selecting your mode for Sport Plus, track, or drag, you are hurting yourself because you are not telling the transmission to pick up its shift times. You're not telling the transmission to shift more aggressively. You're not telling it to upshift, downshift quicker. That is what Sport does. So to put your car in drive and then try and track it, drag it, if you're not putting it in Sport, you are doing it wrong. I got the notes. I did the research. I even went out and tested it myself. I didn't get any video footage because I'm sorry, I got nothing to mount my phone on. I don't. I have nothing. I could buy something. I haven't done it. Like I said, money's been tight. Make all the jokes you want about not being able to get a phone stand. My money's been tied up with my kids. So make the clown jokes all you want. It ain't gonna bother me. But the reality of it is that what the transmission does, paired with the actual mode select, make them work together in unison, and you're going to have one crazy car. If you keep them separated and you leave the transmission in drive and you try and drive this thing on the track or the drag strip or even in sport mode, Sport and Sport Plus, it will not be as aggressive as it would if you were to put your shifter into Sport. It will hold the gears longer. It will shift quicker going up. It will shift quicker going down. On top of the other notion, if you want to know the paddles, if you leave the car in drive, you can shift up and down with your paddle shifters. If you ever so happen to forget to downshift or upshift, the car will shift for you. The car will not let you blow the engine in drive mode. If you put the car in Sport and you initiate your paddles, the car will downshift when coming to a stop or slowing down. But when it comes to speeding up, the car will not shift for you. You have to do all the upshifting when the car is in sport mode, when the transmission is in sport mode. Just selecting the mode in your mode select will not change how the deactivation and reactivation of your paddles. So if you put the car in sport, and I told you we would get into this earlier in the video, and you select Sport Plus while your transmission is in sport, the car will shift automatically. It will shift automatically going up. It will shift automatically going down until you hit your paddle shifters. Once you hit them paddle shifters, the car doing anything for you is over other than downshifting. Downshifting is the only thing the car will do to keep you from bogging out and all that other stuff. Other than that, that's it. I was trying to squeeze this into 10 minutes, made it 20 minutes, but I really hope this information helped you guys out. Those are the differences between selecting drive and then sport for the transmission, and the difference between selecting Sport Plus, track, and drag mode for the actual mode selection. And for those of you, if you wanted snow and wet to be covered, what snow and wet will do, you want it in drive, is it lowers your throttle response and makes the car shift even softer and slower, so you don't accidentally slip on ice, hydroplane in wet conditions, or just in bad weather conditions overall. It makes the throttle so less responsive, you don't got to worry about the car breaking loose. That's what snow and wet is for. That's also what normal mode helps with. But snow and wet takes it a step further when you need to go below normal, because it's really slick out. There's snow, there's ice, there's high water, whatever the case may be. Whenever it rains, I put this car in snow and wet, because sometimes she likes to hydroplane and it kills the throttle, so I don't lose control. Very beneficial. But that's it, guys. Hope y'all enjoy the video and hope all y'all have a blessed day. Y'all have a good one.